So everybody knows Pokemon has been going downhill for a while now. And I really thought that Pokemon Sword and Shield would be the game that revitalized the franchise. But sadly, it wasn't. Good thing I've been sitting on some ideas that could really revitalize the franchise. And I don't know, I have a lot of them. And my roommate was really interested in them, and he encouraged me to make this YouTube video. So I thought, why not? I have a lot of them, but I'm only going to mention a few of them in this video. If you really want to know, like, just comment, tell me that you want me to do a part two, and I'll do one. All right. So some of these ideas are controversial, I must say, very controversial. So this first idea, and I think this is a major thing. I think Pokemon should do a permadeath system. Yeah. So once a Pokemon dies, it's gone for good. Because one, when I play Pokemon, I don't really catch that many Pokemon. I thought Pokemon was not only about being the best, but trying to catch them all. But when I play Pokemon, I really catch around like the six that I know I'm gonna play, the legendary, and maybe a few here and there. But other than that, maybe 15 Pokemons, and I call it a day. But if there was a permadeath system, kind of like the one in Breath of the Wild, after after you're going to be catching Pokemon just so you can stay alive. It's going to force you to play with Pokemons you never even thought about playing with because some of your Pokemons are dying. So I think that's why it needs to be implemented, and I also think Nuzlocke shouldn't. Nuzlocke. I'm not killing my own Pokemon. They gotta kill it for me. Now, here's the thing. I don't think the starting Pokemon should be able to die. I think the starter that you get should always stay alive no matter what. It will faint, and you can go, restore it at the Pokemon Center. But all the other Pokemons could die. Now, I also think that maybe they can implement this held item that if you give it to a Pokemon, if it dies, it won't. It will just faint, and then you could, revive it at the Pokemon Center. But they should give these. I think there should only be like four of these items, and they should be given very slowly throughout the game. So only four of your Pokemons plus your one starter should be able to stay alive permanently. The second idea I think that would really shake up the franchises is adding action elements, and this is what I really find interesting. So an action element in the sense of in the overworld, not in the battle. I think the battles should stay turn based. But what I mean when I say in the overworld, imagine in Breath of the Wild how you can glide, you can climb. I think those elements should be implemented in an overworld game because until Breath of the Wild, I never felt like any game really was about exploration. Now, adding these kind of action elements into the overworld, I think will encourage exploration. Also, it will make it so where you could pick Pokemon in certain locations that you have to reach. Now, what I mean is the example I told my roommate was you. Let's say you want to climb. It's not that you need a Pokemon that knows the move Rock Climb or Rock Slide. You just need a Pokemon that can climb. So maybe like a Steelix or any Pokemon that looks like it could climb. Like it got claws, it's big, it's a climbing Pokemon. And then what you would need, each Pokemon would have a different climbing stamina gauge, just like in Breath of the Wild. So let's say, I don't know, there's this one mountain and there's something at that top of the mountain you need to get. If you got one Onyx, an Onyx will be able to climb 1 mile up, right? Now, if you caught a different Onyx, maybe it has a different nature or a different personality, whatever. It might have a higher or even lower climbing stamina gauge. So it will really force you to go collect as many Onyxes as you can, or really the best Onyx you could find to climb up that mountain. Now, let's say that mountain is like 2 miles high, but your Onyx could only climb up 1 mile high. So what you could do is have two Pokemons in your party that could climb, and you can do that. Or you could get your Onyx, evolve it into a Steelix, and then that Steelix might have like a one. It can probably climb like 1.8 miles up that mountain, and then you just use like a normal Pokemon that can't really climb that much to help you climb to climb the rest of the way, or so on and so forth. Another action element I think they can do is flying. All these Pokemons can fly. They have wings. They should have a not that they should be able to fly, but I think they should be able to glide, kind of like the paraglider does in Breath of the Wild. You know, and I think depending on the type of Pokemon you're using to glide, I think that should affect the way it glides. So maybe some Pokemons can glide faster. Some Pokemons can have a slower drop distance, a slower drop when they glide. Or some maybe some of them could, like, I don't know, fucking like raise up higher than others. I don't know. You could be pretty creative with this, but I think that should also be implemented as a flying as a flying action in the overworld. This could make it so actually traveling to certain places isn't as easy, because I don't think traveling or exploring in all the previous Pokemon games were hard. You just walked around grass, and when you surf, you're just like walking on water or swimming, but it's the same thing, you know. But doing this would actually make a puzzle solving element just to move to one location to the next. Because not only do you have to find where you need to go, but you need to have the type of Pokemon that can help you glide to where you need to go. And again, the flying Pokemon doesn't need to have the move fly. It just needs to be able to have wings, and you can use that fly element. You get what I mean? And so a Pokemon like Archeops, which is a rock flying Pokemon, it was one of the fossils, and I think in Gen 5. That Pokemon, since it's rock and it has some wings, I think it could do both the rock, the climbing, and the flying. And it could do both because it has those type of abilities. It has that type of attributes and characteristics. So I think that would be pretty cool. The third thing I think that could really change up the formula is side quests. Why hasn't Pokemon had side quests all this long? I mean, for real. I mean, the closest thing to a side quest they had this time is what you call it, a kid would say, "Oh, I've always wanted an Onyx. I trade. Oh, you have an Onyx. I'll trade you my Bidoof for your Onyx." Like, that's not a good trade, but you know what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. I think they should have more side quests in this whole open world thing. Also, I could imagine them doing side quests like I remember in Breath of the Wild, there used to be a guy on the towers, and he would be like, if you find him, he would be like, I could fly further than you. I flew this distance. I wonder how far you could fly. Could you fly further than me? Kind of thing, right? Imagine if you had to catch a Zubat. Let's say the Zubat is one of the fastest Pokemon that can fly. You caught one of those, and then you have to race him, like on a flying course or whatnot. And if you beat him, bam, you get some type of special key item or something like that. And it'll really be encouraging to talk to a lot of people, because nowadays I don't really talk to anybody unless I know they're gonna give me like a fishing rod or something. You get what I mean? But I think that could overall, it can it will make the world feel more lively, because it will just make the game just better, have more things to do than just fighting Pokemon. I think one more thing I would like to add in this video is I think Pokemon needs, I don't know which one I want to say. I think Pokemon needs a better story, but that's a given. But here's my little excerpt from the story that I've been thinking of for Pokemon. So instead of having two games that are pretty much identical, I think one Pokemon game should be about the goal is you're trying to be the leader, beat the Pokemon League and whatever. But I think the second game, which could be more for the older people, I don't know, that would be the goal would be to destroy the team, destroy the evil team. Now I think both games should go through Pokemon gym badges, gym leaders and whatnot. But I think the execution of how it should be is different. So in the first game, let's call it the kids game. It's gonna go identical to how the game's been going so far. You're just trying to be the best that ever was. Now on the second game, for the older game, for the adults, I'm gonna call this the adults game. The adults, your mentor wouldn't be the professor of the region, but your mentor would be Looker, and Looker, um, you're a new recruit in in Looker's agency, dedicated to destroy the bad guy. So, um, as you're playing the game, you're trying to figure out what happened to your father, because there's some mystery that happened, and you realize that it's bigger than what meets the eyes. But the thing is, you don't have access to the files that'll help you solve this mystery. The way you get a higher clearance to access these files will be having higher gym badges. So if you want to know more about what happened to your father's disappearance or whatever mystery, personal mystery you have, you need more gym badges to do it. And that's your reason for doing the gym badges. But your overall goal is to figure out the problem with your father, to and to defeat the bad guys. And you're using gym badges so you can help find your personal problem. You get what I mean? And I think both the protagonists in both games could find each other. Like maybe the in the adult game, the protagonist is at the headquarters, and then the protagonist in the kids game goes to the headquarters like he always does in every game, beats some ass, and then he sees the other guy, and he thinks that he's part of the bad guys, Team Aqua or whatnot, and then they have to fight. I also think key battles in this game, so like all the gym battles and all like the rival battles and all the big major battles in the game should be what you call it. The battle should be the level. I don't know what to call it. Damn, it's like they're leveled to the same level as the as your team. So I like to train. I like to get my first Pokemon evolved before I fight the first team gym battle because that's what I used to do in the like Pokemon Silver and whatnot. But I don't think it's fair because after I do it, even though that's what I love to do, I don't like it because then the game gets super easy. I'm one-shotting all the enemies. I think they should be level balanced, I think is the word. And so they should be one level higher or one level lower than where you are. And I think they should have not a set Pokemon team, but they should have a potential Pokemon team, depending on whatever Pokemon composition you have. So if you have a water Pokemon, they should have a grass Pokemon somewhere in their team, and it should be also leveled up to you. And I think that should be an option that's in. Also, I think the permadeath should also be mandatory. I don't think it should be an optional thing. Um, that's 12 minutes of my time. If you want some more ideas, because I have quite a lot of it, quite a lot of them, just let me know. Maybe I might post another video. Bye.